Do you like making handmade crocheted items? Then you're going to want to stick around today as we make mini Christmas stockings. Good morning, everybody. My name is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we are going to talk about crocheting. I love crocheting, whether I am making my crocheted dishcloths or even my mini Christmas stockings. My goal is to always be crocheting some project. And with Christmas right around the corner, I am busy. What I love to do is make homemade baskets. And since I'm a teacher and school was canceled because of some crazy weather, I think it's a good day to stay home and crochet. These mini stockings are wonderful. You can put gift cards in them. You can put candy bars in them. I've even set up my table for the holidays and put my fork, spoon, and knife in them. They even make beautiful ornaments. If you want to tie on a gift tag, just add a button. You can put it right around here, hanging on down with their name on it. Looking for gift ideas? This one is for a friend of mine. All the things that she loves, from candy to coffee and even a magazine, is in here. And look, I added a gift card. I love this basket. It is long and narrow, perfect for a row of gifts. And Crocs make wonderful containers to gift. And how can I afford to fill all these containers? It's pretty easy. Other than the crock and the food items, everything here has been thrifted from the Goodwill. I just add my personal touch. All right, enough talking. Let's get started on how to crochet mini stockings. And here's a quick hint. If you'd rather have a nice chubby looking stocking versus a flat one, I simply fill it with tissues. Typically I use two colors to do my stockings. I like to have the white up here at the top. You can either choose to have different colors here, or you can actually do all of that as a solid color. My two favorite colors are red and white. This is a medium-sized yarn, so you're going to look for a 4 on the back of the skein. Feel free to try a variety of colors, from variegated yarns to grays and even tans. I've had some really cute ones. I like to use a smaller crochet hook for this project. This is an F or a 5, which comes down to a 3.75 millimeter. Otherwise, you just need a good pair of scissors, and if you want to add buttons, you're going to need a variety of buttons to add later with thread and a needle. I love making 1-hour projects. Unfortunately, this one's more like 2 hours, but it is all single crochet, and it is not difficult, just lots of other steps that you need to do. First, I'm going to put a loop on my hook. So I swing it around, cross over, and then for me, it's just easier to go under and over and pull it tight. There you go. You're going to chain just 2 stitches. So I hold it this way, and 1 and 2. And that reminds me, I wanted to talk a little bit about Red Heart yarn. Anybody else noticing that the newer skein split? I think that it is woven looser, and because of that, when I crochet, often I grab just part of the yarn and not the full piece, and so it significantly slows me down. So I'm not real happy with Red Heart right now. From this point, I am going to put 9 single crochets in this last loop on that stitch. So there it is. I'm going to put 9 stitches in that same hole. So there is 1. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already know how to crochet. If not, you can go back to my playlist, and I have many, many videos on how to crochet. So there's 3. And you're going to want to go around in a circle until you have 9. There's your 9 single crochet. We're going to start round 2. You're going to go into that first loop. You want both of those on the V. Let me bring it closer. And you're going to put 2 single crochets into that stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Now you're going to go the whole way around. Continue counting until you hit 18. So 3, 4, and go around until you have 18 stitches. There's my 18 stitches in row 2, and this is what I'm talking about with Red Heart. I did a stitch, grabbed the yarn, and it left part of it behind. I think I'm going to do one more row, and then I'm just going to switch yarn. Row 3, what you're going to do is put 2 stitches in that first stitch, just like we did last time. 2 in the first one. Can't get it. There we go. All right, 1, oops, and 2, and only 1 in the next stitch. So the pattern is 2, 1, 2, 1, and go all the way around till you have 27 stitches. So there it went again. Yeah, I am going to go switch yarn. All right, this happens in the crochet world. I was not happy with Red Heart, so I just switched over to Bernat Baby White that I had left over from a project. So I switched over. If we compare them, yes, there's a bigger hole. I don't care about the hole. So this is crocheting much, much better. We just finished that third row, 1, 2, 3, and I had 27 stitches going around. It was 2 in a stitch, then 1 in a stitch, 2, 1, until we had 27. Now it gets much easier. All you're going to do is put 1 stitch in every stitch going around. So 1 single crochet, and you keep going in the round until you have 6 rows. So I will finish that and be right back with you. And here are my 6 rows. As you can see, it started to form a cup shape. What we're going to do is count them so you can see exactly what is a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And what's going to happen? It's going to get squished. That is the toe of your stocking. I just attached the red, and what I'm going to do is just continue going in the round by putting 1 single crochet into each stitch. Now you're going to end up with strings. These strings all will go in the center of that stocking because nobody's ever going to see them. So continue crocheting with red until you have 15 rows. And here's a total of 15 rows. If we start from the tip of the toe, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rows. When I change colors, I try to always have them on the same side of the stocking. And what I'm doing now, I just added white and I put in 1 single crochet stitch. At this point, I'm going to add 13 more, so I want a total of 14 single crochet, 1 in each stitch. If you're looking at our stocking, these are the 14 stitches that I just put in. They start on this side and they go across, and we have 14 stitches. To do this rippled part from this point on, I'm going to do 6 rows back stitch only. So let me move that out of the way. So you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now from this point on, you're only going to do stitches in the back row, just like that. Single crochet, 14 across the row. This is what we're looking at right now. We have our toes, and then we had those rows. Then we had 1 normal row and 6 rows back loops only, and you can tie it off. If there's any tricky part to this project, it would be the next part right now. What you have is the toe, the red, and the heel, and so we're going to be going up this direction. But to do that, first we need to stitch this back seam. We want to, watch carefully, turn it so that your right sides are together. So it's going to look a little funky, as you can see. And then what we're going to do is to slip stitch across here just to make that closed. So let me show you again how we folded it. So if you have it down as a slipper, you're going to take, this is the outside, you're going to meet the outside pieces, just like that. Push that down so it's out of the way. And then turn it, and you're going to slip stitch this part right here, which is only going to be about 7 stitches. All right, so we have folded it, and I want this tail that we have to be my starting point. So I am going to go into that stitch, and I'm only going to do the outside loop, make it even a little trickier, and the outside loop. All right, so I have both of those outside loops, and now I need to get my yarn. Oh, that's the cut one. Bring it around and do a slip stitch. So grab it and pull it through all of those. There we go. All right, and just keep going until you get to this point. So you're going to take outside and outside. After you get the first one, it's much easier. And then slip stitch. All right, and go until you get to that corner. And I put a slip stitch going in every stitch going across. There were 6 stitches. I said 7, there were only 6. And I'm going to cut the yarn and pull it through. What I like to do is, yes, a lot of people leave it just like that. I put another knot on there. I just don't count that that's going to stay. So I don't want to risk it coming out. So the knot's going to be on the inside. Nobody's going to see it. Pull it down tight, and there we go. So I'm going to trim the inside strings that we have left. These two, anytime I have 2 that are side by side, I tie them together. That's a little trick there. So tie those 2 together. And again, that's just gonna make it a little bit tighter, and cut some of it off. I don't need to cut a lot. All right, now what we're gonna do is push that out, and there we go. It looks like a slipper. To attach the red, you're gonna go to the very back of the stocking. If you're looking at this, the very back, and we're going to put a single crochet in that space. So at the top, in the back, put a single crochet, and then space out 6 single crochets going across here. Now, it would be easy to put them in those 3 big spaces, but I don't think it has a good look when you're done. You're going to have a big gap. So I'm going to add 6 by actually moving over so that I have at least 2 pieces of yarn on that hook. So there's 1. Just keep going until you have 6. Space them out, just like that. There's 2. And continue until you get to that corner. Here I have the 1 stitch in the back, and then I added 6 going across, and that brings us to this corner. Now, all you're going to do, we have a stitch in that one, so we're going to go to the next one. Make sure you grab both loops and just put a single crochet. Now, you're going to put 1 single crochet across the top in each one of these V's until you get to the other corner. We are down to the heel part. I'm going to turn and put 6 stitches, which brings us back to the beginning. I've made it around that circle 1 time. This was my beginning stitch, and I'm just going to go into that one. And at this point, I will continue crocheting in the round, 1 single crochet in each stitch, going around and around and around until I have 17 rows. And this is what 17 rows looks like. And to be honest, you can have 15, you can have 20. This is extremely variable on how long you want your stocking to be. And as I said, you can do 1 color. This is what 1 color would look like, and you wouldn't have all the strings. You'd be able to crochet it faster. But I think that little pop of white just adds a lot to this stocking. The next part that we are going to crochet is this top edge, and so you're going to need your white again. You're not actually going to crochet it onto the stocking. You're going to crochet it and then add it. We start this piece by chaining 10. Then single crochet 1 in each stitch. Skip that first one for a total of 9 stitches across. Chain 1. Turn, and only use the back loops, and we're going to go across with 9 stitches, and you're going to keep doing this until you have a long piece. This is 24 rows. You can count them by the ridges. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. What's important is you end on the opposite side of what you began. You're going to chain 1. And at this point, we are going to connect this side to this side, just like that. And so you're going to want to find that stitch that's on the outside like we've done before. Go across, find the stitch. And remember, this was a new row, so you're not going to have 2 stitches on that first row. And then pull it through and do a slip stitch. Do that the whole way across until you have formed a band. Once that is connected, you're going to cut off your yarn. I like to do that slip through there. And since I have 2 ends again, tie those ends together. And there's your band. Now the right side is on the inside at this point, so turn it around so you have right side out. Slip this band into your stocking, and you want the right side to be facing out, and then at the back of your stocking, kind of line up where you have all your loose yarn, just like that. And then kind of stretch it so it fits inside there. If there's a pucker like there was right there, just stretch it. And there you go. Next thing we're going to do is attach it to the band. It's easier to stitch them evenly from the outside because you have all your even stitches. It was crocheted the opposite direction going this way on the inside. So I start from the outside at the very, very back, find that first stitch, and then find the first stitch on here. And again, you're just going to try to get at least 2 pieces of yarn on your hook. There you go. Then find the end. And you're going to do a slip stitch. Again, the first one's the hardest one. After that, it's much easier. All right, slip stitch going all the way around. As you're doing your slip stitches, if you notice it's getting too bulky inside, then slide it down a little, move the stitch over. It's very flexible, but you want to try to even out these stitches. Like it's a little bulky here, so I'm going to put the stitch a little further down. But your goal is to have that level and flat by the time you get to the other side. I've attached that band all the way around. You can see my white stitches. At this point, I'm going to cut the white yarn and tie it off. Now that one is right close to that red one, so I'm going to tie those together. All of these ends have been tied off, so at this point, I'm just going to trim them a little shorter because you don't have to weave in any ends in this project. I love that. These will all be hidden. You're going to grab this cuff and then fold it down. Just like that. You are almost done with this project. The only thing we need to do is to add this little loop so you can hang it on a tree. If you want, you can add buttons or decorations, but today I'm just going to put a loop on there. To make this loop, I am going to chain 30. You can honestly make it any size that you want. I found that if it's a little bit longer, it's easier to hang it on, say, your Christmas tree. The really short ones get a little difficult to get them on the branches. So chain 30. This is what 30 stitches look like. And to make this thicker, I'm going to now go back through that chain and put slip stitches. So let me bring it closer. You're going to stick your hook into the first one and do a slip stitch. Simple. And go the whole way across doing the same thing. Put a slip stitch in each one. That's what your wider chain looks like with a slip stitch attached. Now you're going to make this loop bigger and drop the hook for now. Go to the back of your stocking, right in the center where you want to put that loop. And what I do is I go in through the red, try to find the very back, through the red, through the white, and grab the end that does not have a loop on it. Stick it anywhere in there. Make sure you have more than just one thread though, or yarn. And you're going to want to try to pull it through, and you have to wiggle it around. Sometimes it comes in, sometimes it's much harder. Oh, it's starting to come. And pull it through, just like that. Put your crochet hook back through this loop, tighten it back up, like that. And what you're going to do is slip stitch into the end. You should know by now I like to tie together any loose ends that I have. Now I'm not going to trim these yet because I need to pull those through. So pull that loop until those 2 strings are in the center. I don't like to just leave them there because it's up by the top. So what I'm going to do is pull them in between. And I do that by sticking my hook in and grabbing them and pulling them between the band and the stocking itself, just like that. Okay, and trim. You just want to trim it so it's shorter than the band that you have across the top. And now you too can crochet your specialty gifts for Christmas. And if you are new to my channel, my name is Deb. I am a crocheter, a teacher, a homesteader, and a YouTuber. It would mean so much if you would subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with all your crocheting and homesteading families. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.